I'm going to ask you this. You don't have to answer if you don't like. What's it actually like working with Chrissie Hynde?
Well, it's amazing, We came from this as we met in a bar, and it was just very random and all a big surprise. This happened. We've only known each other a year and a half, and a lot of people, was it intimidating and all that, but it was just, because we became so close, as like, we've become like each other's muse, in music. But it just feels right, and it's just, the fact that I'm sharing a stage with her is just unbelievable. Her voice I think, is the most prominent, most beautiful voice in rock, and so, it's totally an honour, but, we're like best mates now, so it's just great.
I must admit, from seeing Chrissie Hynde on TV in the not-so-distant past, her voice has matured an awful lot, and it does sound very, very good. And the album Fidelity, you're obviously very pleased with the album. Yeah,
I mean, what Chrissie was saying about record sales, it was a success to us in the first weeks we recorded it, because we're blown away by the album, and we just, it's just such a joy to be able to have the opportunity to tour it in the States, and hopefully we can come and do that in Europe too.
Yeah, now, how do you think the album will be received in, say, places like the UK, which is totally different to the States?
Well, I mean, I just hope, people... I think any album, however it sounds and however sort of synthesized or however old-fashioned it might sound, I think it's all down to the songs, so which we believe it is, and so, hopefully people will take to it really well, and, in America it's the whole are they, aren't they kind of thing, which is, everyone saying that we're, never been a couple, and we just wrote the whole album about the fact that if we were the same age, we would be, and we'd love to be, but that's just not the case. And so hopefully people will just kind of like get over the whole are they, aren't they thing when we come to Europe too.
Now, the great thing about albums like Fidelity is you no longer have to fit into a genre. You can actually be a rock, pop, soul, blues, whatever artist, and produce an album containing all those different genres of music. Is this something you had in mind when you were writing the album?
Well, I mean, we didn't want to conform to anybody. We just wanted to do what we wanted to do, and we had no sort of rules stylistically or anything. Let the boys do what they did, and Chrissie and I produced it, and just, the fact that we're doing it all ourselves as well, it just means we can do what we want. So it's just, it was all just so organic, and it just was right, I spent my 10 years writing songs, with major labels pushing me to write songs for hits for radio, and I'm just sick of it. And we didn't do that on this album. We just did what comes true. And I think any song that's written from the heart and without an agenda is got to be the best thing possible.
It's got to be fantastic. What was the recording process like? I'm told it was very organic.
Yeah, we went to Cuba together on holiday.
Yeah,
and we just we didn't mean to write this album. I take a guitar wherever I go, and we were walking the streets one day, and I said, "Wow, if you were my age, would you have my babies?" And she said, "Yeah." And then we were really upset about the fact that we weren't the same age and couldn't do that, and so we just ended up writing all these songs to each other on like napkins in restaurants, and just flowed out of us very naturally and quickly.
Yeah. And when you got into the studio, putting the band together and things like that, the other thing I was told was it was a fairly sort of live recording. There weren't a lot of overdubs or anything like that.
No, we're over that now. I think everyone's had enough of that who've been in bands. I've had enough. He's had enough. We just took a great band with us where we have a great chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And we ran through each song like 4 times, took the best take, and then JT and I took it back to London and, went into a really small studio and just put in some background vocals and tambourines and stuff, and, that's your album.